Hi, friends. It's Michelle Ladd with the National Veteran Resources. And today I am so honored to be here with my friend, Mark D'Amato. And Mark, you want to say hey?
Hi, everybody.
Mark and I have known each other for many, many years, and we have served on quite a few missions with the Patriot Guard Riders. Dave Lippa, I believe we think that Dave introduced us. We're not quite sure. But Mark has been to missions with me when our hero Michael died, and we did a mission for Michael. He was a Webster firefighter. He's also been to several welcome homes at the airport and at the National Guard with me. And we've just been fast friends since. And we've kept in touch with each other. He knows he can reach out to me if he ever needs to chat. And I know I could reach out to him if I ever need to chat. So, Mark, you served in what branch?
Air Force.
In the Air Force. In how many years?
2.5.
2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mark has a really incredible story to tell us about his military career and what his future held and how he's doing now. And he has a great message. So I'm going to ask Mark to share his story with you. And I ask you to please like and share these videos so you can help us get these stories out there and share our messages. So, Mark, you shared a little bit about your military career and what led the end of your career up until where you're at today.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you just share a little bit, and remember, only share what you're comfortable sharing.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess I'll start out with actually swore in to the Air Force between my junior and senior year of high school. I swore in on September 11th, 1980. Who knew at that time what that day would mean today? Um, I left. I started basic training right after high school, which probably was a stupid mistake because I was down in San Antonio, Texas during 1st of July through August.
Mm.
A little warm down there.
Yeah.
I left there. I went to Denver for my food service training, and that's probably one of the biggest jokes with everybody is, they asked me what I did. I was just a cook, but I wasn't just a cook. I was a cook that actually knew what they were doing, and most of the guys I served with loved me because I knew how to cook. So I had experience before I went in. I took food service in high school, and I was already working at a hotel before I even graduated and went in. Um, I left for Germany December 7th of 1981. So I guess two most infamous days in American history have a serious connection with me, and yeah, I guess I sort of enjoy those days, but I don't. Just brings back some hurt, some memories, but I enjoy what you know the day is about and how we still celebrate it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the memory of what happened. Um, the beginning of April of 1982, I was on my way to the base to go to work, and I was involved in a head-on collision uh, in Germany while I was serving in Germany. I was at a base called Buchel, which is um, it's actually the German Air Force training base. There was only 150 Americans there. We were actually the first munitions site opened in Germany. So head to head on collision, which was not fun. I literally watched the guy that was driving the other car die on the side of the road. Um, the Germans investigated it. And I was charged with negligent homicide and court-martialed through the Air Force. Later on, they said that they had more evidence, and they raised it to involuntary manslaughter. So the way it worked was I was facing 7 years, and because I was still serving, I would have had to make up those 7 years to the Air Force. So I would have done 7 years in a German prison, got out and gone to Leavenworth for another 7. Um, so I was basically facing 14 years of prison. Um, the craziest part of that night was when my first sergeant came to pick me up in the town I was in. On the way back home, he got rear-ended, and we went off the road, and I literally was in another accident. And it's something that we actually can still joke about today, because I've um, reconnected with him through Facebook, reconnected with a lot of guys through Facebook, and that's something I'll talk about later. But 6 months went by before I actually went to court. So the last 3 days of September. And during that time, we worked on this case almost every single day. Nobody could figure out how the Germans were blaming me. I was actually completely sober on my way to work. The German driving the other car had an alcohol count of 0.24. And this is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is normal over there. So nobody could figure out how they were blaming me. Luckily, the third day of court, we basically were completely done with court, and my lawyer all of a sudden tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Wait a second." She stood up and asked the judge for a quick recess. He said, "For what? We're done." And she said, "I think I just figured out how to prove Airman D'Amato innocent." What? It basically boiled down to simple math. There was a scratch on the bottom of my car that matched a scratch on the road. It was the front bumper that was 6 inches across the line, so they blamed me. Mm-hmm. She asked to have the German traffic expert recalled, and basically said, "Well, you said that it took 18 inches to create that scratch." And he said, "Yes. So wouldn't that make Airman D'Amato 12 inches on his side of the line?" It was that simple. She literally saved my life at the last minute. So after that, she had put in a request for me to be transferred off of that base, so I didn't have to live with the memories every single day and whatever else. We had gotten a new commander that didn't know me, and he refused, so I ended up staying there basically a whole nother year. When it come time for me to leave Germany, I was accepted to go back to Colorado to become a food service instructor for the Air Force. My supervisor didn't like that, and basically called them and told them I wasn't capable of handling the job, and started discharge paperwork. And basically the Air Force said that because of my accident and some of the problems I was having, I started drinking, I was depressed. Back then I had no idea I was suffering from PTSD from this accident. They basically forced me out, which to this day still upsets me, because that's what I wanted to do in my life. Mm-hmm. I there's a couple of guys that I know that just, they served 20, 22, 24, 26 years, and that's what you wanted to do. It would have been me. During all this time, I started drinking a lot. A lot. That's all we had to do. The base I was at, all the American stuff, the bowling alley, the theater, everything was condemned. So all we had to do was go in town and drink. And that's what we did. And being in Germany, there was an excuse for a beer fest or a wine fest every weekend. You know, that's all you did was party. And I definitely started drinking very heavily. I got out, and through the years, I've had a lot of problems with depression. Um, I had a suicide attempt many years ago. Um, and ended up getting into drugs. I've been arrested many times. The most I've served is 45 days in a county jail, but I've been in jail many times. Um, and I was always told that I couldn't get help through the VA. So in 2002, I basically went through what I called my year from hell. Everything that could go wrong in life went wrong from February to October. Um, the girl I was with left. I lost my home. I lost my job. Actually, I lost the home to a fire. 2 dogs that we had died in the fire. Lost my job. Lost my car. Ended up going to another apartment. 4 months later, there was a fire in that place, and we lost, my son and I lost everything again. I ended up giving up custody of my son, and at that point, it was, what else can I lose? And I ended up having 3 suicide attempts that year because of depression. And my uncle Tony, who's a Vietnam veteran out in Cleveland, asked me why I wasn't going to the VA. I said, I'm not eligible to go to the VA. And he basically told me, excuse my language, bullshit, and told me the next day I needed to go down to the VA. And I went into the VA, and I ended up getting my VA card that day, and I'm like, okay, why is it all of a sudden I'm eligible? Yeah. Um, Unfortunately, the Rochester outpatient clinic did not deal with non-combative PTSD. And therefore, it was never actually diagnosed. In 2009, well, actually in 2002, I put in for disability again. Because I did back in 84 when I got out. In 83 I got out. 84 I put in for disability, was denied. They said there was nothing in my medical records. 2002 I put in again. They said the same thing. Well, in 2009, I ended up connecting with a service rep out of Buffalo that looked at all my paperwork and said, this is crazy. He put everything in, and wasn't until 2009 when I went through my psychological evaluation that they actually diagnosed me with PTSD. So since then I've been getting help. And now I'm part of the Batavia VA, and their PTSD clinic there is great. So I think for me, one of the biggest things, like I said, I connected with my first sergeant on Facebook. I've got probably 40, 50 people on my Facebook that are all people that served in Germany while I was there, or before or after. We have basically a Facebook page for that base. And there's even some of the girls that hung out with all the Americans. Some of them actually got married and are living over here now.
Oh, wow.
And I think at first it scared me because I didn't want to face all the stuff from Germany again. But my message to everybody is, if you can connect with people that you served with that knew what you went through, do it. Because you guys on Facebook are really,
It's an
they really
amazing
pulled me through at
resource,
times.
right?
It is. It is. Um, they say once brothers, always brothers. And I'm telling you, there's times where some of these guys reach out to me when I don't even really think I need it, but they can tell. It is an amazing thing. We were able to go down to Branson 3-4 years ago for a reunion with everybody I hadn't seen in over 30 years. And it was nice to hear people saying, yeah, you got screwed, you know. And I was always afraid of facing that because I thought, everybody thought I was a screw up.
That had to be really hard on you.
But it's taught me that I wasn't a screw up. It was, my supervisor was just being an idiot, and it wasn't, sometimes, like I said, it still gets me mad because I wanted that as a career, but I've learned to deal with it. So, but yeah, reach out to your brothers, reach out to your friends. PTSD and suicide is no joke.
It's real, isn't it?
It's very real, very real.
So your message, so you guys all know that I'm trying to save lives, and the reason why I'm interviewing all of these veterans and first responders around the country is because they have experiences. Many of them are still living it. Mark and I shared a lot over the years of what he has been going through, and a lot of people think that if they were wartime that they're going to have PTSD, but there's millions of people out there that suffer with PTS and anxiety and depression that are not combat veterans, that maybe served as a first responder or military, or maybe not. There's millions of people out there that suffer with PTS that has nothing to do with military or having a first responder career. And so there's reasons why, it could be from a childhood experience or a lot of different things. So our message is, when you feel something deep inside of you that you don't want to go on anymore, there are resources. And Mark's saying that he's actually used Facebook as a tool. So many people are against Facebook. I'm not against Facebook. This is the way I'm sharing my message. Mark's saying that he was able to reach out to so many people on Facebook. He got the support. He got to reach out to his old friends, and it has been an incredible journey for him. And, he's been through it all. I've talked to a lot of guys that have been through it all, and Mark is one of them. And, you still have bad days occasionally. You're all, but so you just deal with it. And do you think that everybody should have some type of outlet, something to keep them busy? What would reach out to your friends?
I love to go fishing. I don't care if I catch anything. Just sitting by the water fishing is
therapeutic.
It's my serenity. My wife laughed at me because we used to go out in the morning and be out there afternoon. She'd leave that evening. I wouldn't come home till 7:00 in the morning. What'd you catch? Nothing.
I understand it though. Just sitting by the beach is what I like to do.
You gotta find what works for you, and I reach out to other veterans as much as I can. Try to help. Don't stop fighting for what you deserve. Yeah, it was another thing. Right now I'm waiting to hear on whether I'm going to get paid 26 years of back pay, because I haven't stopped fighting. Once I found out I was eligible for the VA and I was able to get disability, and they should have given it to me, because the reason I got disability is I went through my medical records and found all the evidence that they said wasn't in there.
Right. Well,
so it's,
I hope you get what you deserve. You're hearing some of the things that Mark went through, but I want you to know he has the biggest heart. He will do anything for anybody. He's always reaching out to veterans and others in need. And he loves me so much in my mission and he sees what I go through sometimes, and doing all that I'm doing alone. He even offered to drive me around, and it's a little bit of a joke, but I think you owe Randy an apology. Sorry, Randy.
Yeah, sorry, Randy. I
I always tell Randy, sorry, Randy. So I want to thank you for sharing your story. And our message is to reach out, get help,
Don't fight it alone.
don't fight it alone, and don't give up hope or faith. And that's my main message. Remember my tattoo? You probably can't see it. This is what my tattoo is all about. Never give up hope or faith, guys.
You know,
Yeah, I didn't tell you
I
that,
could
Mark.
actually share my father's favorite saying.
Okay, real quick, because we were
Um,
20 minutes already.
Oh, okay. Um, my father was a very big on positive thinking, motivational speaker, and everybody hears you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
Well, my father took it a little further, and my father would say, "You got to do what you got to do when you got to do what you got to do, even though what you got to do isn't always what you want to do.
do.
You got to do what you got to do when you got to do it.
Right.
So, just do it.
Just do it.
If you're down, reach out. That's
If you're down and out, reach out. Go to nationalveteranresources.com. I'm trying to find resources all over the country. Listen to my veterans and my first responders. We're on my Facebook page. I'm sharing as many resources as I can find as fast as I can get them up there. And I want to thank you. Can I just 1 second, real quick?
yeah.
We have a supporter in here. Tracy is here holding Mark's hand because she knew that this was going to be emotional, and I want to thank you so much too, Tracy. All right, everybody, remember, reach out and never give up hope or faith. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you,
God bless.
everybody. We love you.
Love ya. Bye.